KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
A heartbreaking couple of days. That's how Sheriff Javier Salazar describes the tragic scene in East Bexar County, where a woman and a 5-year-old girl both died in cars that were submerged in high water.
The 5-year-old identified by family as Alyssa Lemon. The body of the woman recovered this afternoon off North Greytown Road near the city of St. Hedwig. She's been identified as Esther Rodriguez Conde.
Our Tiffany Huertas live with details and has more from the family of the woman. What do we know this evening, Tiffany?
Myra, Steve, Sheriff Salazar says the vehicle was in 8 to 10 feet of water when the woman's body was recovered. Now, the man, Cruz Gomez, says the woman is his ex-wife, 52-year-old Esther Rodriguez Conde. Today, Cruz says he spent hours waiting for information from officials. He says his daughter, who is 7 years old, and his nephew, who is about 4 or 5 years old, were both in the car with Conde. The kids made it out safely, but Gomez says his daughter's not doing well, and she told him about what happened during the terrifying moments in the water.
The only thing my daughter says is that her mom stayed in the car. The water covered her and all her head, and she was still in the car.
Bexar County Fire Marshal Chris Lopez says he hopes this incident will help shed light on how important it is to avoid high water crossings. Sheriff Salazar says they don't believe barricades were up in this area at the time this tragedy happened. The woman has yet to be officially identified by authorities. Reporting from the east side, Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Tiffany. Let's take a look outside with live cam this evening. We did have more rain move through here late this afternoon. We were concerned about how that might affect things in terms of that recovery out there in East Bexar County, but it seems from Tiffany's.
Yeah, and we've cleared out quite a bit, actually. We're seeing clearing sky in and around San Antonio, especially west of town as well. You look locally, really no shower activity left over in San Antonio. A little bit of sunshine, but down south of San Antonio, Dimmitt, LaSalle, McMullen counties, some heavy pockets of rain. Pleasanton, Charlotte, Jourdanton, it's clearing out. This is a progressive system, so even where we have some of these lingering showers just outside of Gonzales, once they move out, they're done, and the sky's going to clear then the rest of this evening. So improving conditions for outdoor activities and, of course, football games. Clear sky later on tonight, but the wind is going to be gusty. You'll notice the wind. At times, we'll have gusts between about 30 to 40 miles per hour, so prepare for that tonight. Halloween decorations, they're susceptible to a high wind. You'll want to take them down for the night and put them back up by tomorrow evening. We'll talk about the big changes underway for the weekend, what it means for temperatures, especially coming up, Myra.
All right, thank you, Adam. Tonight, the first look at what led up to the fatal shooting of a man experiencing homelessness. This happened yesterday morning outside of a gas station east of downtown.
Although the surveillance video is from across the street, you can clearly tell what is happening. However, we're stopping short of showing you the fatal shot. Jesse Degollado now with a reaction from those who knew the man killed in what police initially called an altercation.
The 35-year-old man who was fatally shot outside a gas station just off I-37 was known by people in the area for often panhandling at the same location. The shooting happened within sight of Christian Assistance Ministry, its mission to help those like the man who was shot down the street.
I think what disturbed me was there didn't seem to be any fight or altercation.
CAM's president and CEO says the man she saw in CAM's surveillance video had been one of its clients. She says he appeared unarmed when they saw him approach a man who looked to be wearing a safety vest. According to SAPD, they apparently exchanged words before the man allegedly pulls a gun and fires at close range. What happened next was just as jarring.
The individual who shot him then stepped over him, calmly got in his truck and just drove off.
Not only that, says an outreach worker who knew the man.
Multiple people walked by that gas station as he was laying there dying.
Police questioned the alleged shooter parked around the block, who told them he'd felt threatened by the man.
The person that I know was very docile, meek, and kind and loving.
Yet they say too often people are fearful when they encounter them.
Our homeless, for the most part, are really only a danger to themselves. And I don't want the public to think that they need to kill people or homeless people or be scared of them.
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
A San Antonio construction worker has been arrested after he allegedly attacked his co-worker with a hammer. This happening in the end of August. Authorities say 32-year-old Sammy Villa was working on a home in northeast Bexar County when he and his co-worker began to argue. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, Villa then grabbed a hammer and hit the victim in the head. Villa drove off in a white truck and the foreman called 911. That victim was taken to BAMC for his injuries. Villa now facing a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
San Antonio police arresting a man who allegedly pointed a gun at two officers. It happened 2 weeks ago at a 7-Eleven near the intersection of Babcock and Wurzbach. According to police, two officers were in a patrol unit when one of them heard a gunshot come from the convenience store. When they arrived, they saw 27-year-old Anthony Briones inside a truck with a woman standing outside of it. As officers approached, Briones raised what appeared to be a gun. The two officers fired their weapons as Briones drove away. The owner of the truck recognized Briones in surveillance video. He now faces 2 counts of aggravated assault of a public servant and evading arrest. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Day. But if you think you already know everything you need to, this next story might surprise you.
More than 43,000 women in the U.S. are expected to die from breast cancer in 2021, even though if it's found early, the 5-year survival rate is 99%.
Ursula Perry now with what that can help you know your breast cancer risk.
According to a SurvivorNet.com survey, 1 in 3 women have delayed their annual mammogram, and 45% say they're nervous about visiting their doctor since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The mammogram is basically the gold standard. That's the one that's been studied the most and is shown to actually decrease deaths from breast cancer.
In fact, research from Canada says that cancers found in between mammograms are 3 to 5 times more deadly than breast cancer found during screenings. The longer you delay the screening, the more opportunity cancer has to grow. Another surprising fact, breastfeeding can lower a woman's risk of developing breast cancer. Doctors say it would be ideal to breastfeed for at least 6 months to a year. Also, an NYU study found a heart attack can increase your risk for breast cancer recurrence by nearly 60%. And that tattoo you got can complicate your breast cancer screenings too. Tattoo pigment can gravitate to your lymph nodes, and that can register as a false alarm mammogram. Experts say the best way to protect yourself is to get screened early.
We also recommend women have a physician breast exam, beginning again around the age of 25 on an annual basis.
And another important fact you may not know, breast cancer is the most common type of cancer found in women who are pregnant as well as those who give birth. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
It's still ahead how a history professor at St. Mary's University became an expert on Mexican American history. It's next in our Hispanic Heritage Profile.
KSAT 12 presents another Day of the Dead story, Building the Ofrenda. Brought to you by Toyota.
Ofrenda means offering, and on November 1st, these altars welcome back our loved ones to the world of the living. They're built with many pieces and parts, and each of them has a specific purpose. When honoring your loved one, don't forget the salt. When a spirit makes its journey back to the world of the living, it's believed salt protects their soul from corruption during their stay. Salt also represents the earth, which is one of the Aztecs' 4 elements of nature. It's usually placed in clay vessels or in the shape of a cross on the bottom level beside other elements of purification. When your loved one's visit is over, make sure they're pure for their journey back. So don't forget the salt.
Tonight's Hispanic Heritage Profile is about, someone who's considered a Hispanic at heart. Dr. Teresa Vanoy, a professor of history at St. Mary's University.
So how is it that she became a respected authority on Mexican American history? Jesse DeGollado tells us, in a sense, it was fate.
You've got to be critical all the time.
Teresa Von Hoy doubles as a history professor and a tour guide, showing her students what they may not know about St. Mary's University.
So it's our job to let students feel the power of the place.
Where voting rights icon Willie Velazquez, Henry B. Gonzalez, the first Hispanic elected to Congress, labor rights champion Emma Tenayuca, and other notable alumni had been students like them.
Those are St. Mary's people. Those are San Antonians. How can my students and I give anything less?
Von Hoy says she's passionate about Hispanic history because she wants her students to feel just as passionate.
St. Mary's University has a history of impassioned people working and risking for social justice.
Yet at one time, Von Hoy wasn't the authority on Mexican-American history, politics, and culture she is today.
Wow, I am the biggest hillbilly you ever met.
Raised within sight of the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina in a Quaker family, Von Hoy says she was beaten up waiting for a school bus after her father, a history teacher, led the efforts to desegregate their town.
They tapped him because they said, look, you don't have any business to lose.
Years later, meeting a man from Mexico City radically changed the trajectory of her life.
I fell in love with him and all of Mexico and all of Latin America.
Since they wanted their firstborn son raised as a Mexican-American and believing San Antonio is a model of tolerance and inclusion, Von Hoy has been teaching at St. Mary's now for more than 30 years.
San Antonio inspires me, its stories and its people.
And of course, its history. In so doing, hopefully being an inspiration for her students. Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
Big impact there.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some new traffic signals coming to several intersections in San Antonio.
Our Samuel King joins us now. Sam, these upgrades made possible by federal funding?
Yeah, that's right, Steve and Myra. $2 million in federal highway safety grants. And this week, the San Antonio City Council signed off on the plans.
The new signals will cover areas from the east side to the west side as the city continues its work to slowly upgrade its more than 1,400 signalized intersections.
These roughly 10 or so intersections, like the one here at McCullough and Brooklyn, chosen based on traffic studies and staff recommendations. Among the changes you'll see is elimination of these wires and the signals hanging from them. Instead, there'll be steel poles. Also, more vehicle detection equipment and traffic cameras, all in order to make things safer.
The city tells us that the intersections in question have had a number of crashes with severe injuries and deaths over the years. Police were called out several times to these intersections for traffic incidents in September alone. People who live and work nearby hope the changes will help improve traffic flow and safety.
Castro gets really backed up from the school all the way up to Couples. It's a standstill.
Stephen Vera Steve runs Robert's Flower Shop near Castroville Road in Couples, down the street from San Fernando Cemetery.
The turning here, you can't turn left. It takes forever. You definitely have to wait a few lights to make it. It seems like you kind of have to force your way through, and you see a lot of accidents around here. Something needs, could be done to make it better.
And this package also includes a new pedestrian signal at Gevers and Drexel Avenue. It could be a while, though, before drivers see changes at all of those intersections. Work isn't scheduled to be completed until 2023. We had some issues earlier with the rain in San Antonio and still a few issues around the city. This is 37 at Cesar Chavez. You see there's a crash there in the middle lanes that's causing some delays. Also had a crash on 35 not far from there. This is on the lower level, but you can kind of see the snarl there. So as we zoom out here, still see some scattered issues here and there. Also some delays on I-10 in East Bexar County following the rain earlier. Also 281 getting a little bit better. 20 minutes now between 1604 and downtown. We did mention some of the flooding and road closures earlier, still scattered across the region. TxDOT out here in Gonzales County said they had reopened 183, but there's some water on the roadway. So just watch out for that as some rain to move through there. And again, if you encounter barricades, just treat them as closed, turn around, don't drown, guys.
Thank you, Sam. Let's take Sky 12 right now over Almost Dam. And, sometimes when it's really rainy, you see some of the water back there, and you can still see there is some water back there behind the Almost Dam, but not as much as it was because the gates are open there.
Yeah, and it was even more so yesterday, after the really heavy rainfall, and then obviously the water has receded a bit, and now we're in the clear. So the rain has moved out, and now the skies are clear, and literally we are in the clear. Let's take a look at the radar over the past few hours, and you'll see the progression of those showers and thunderstorms. And they came in from the hill country and then just flared up over the west side of San Antonio, where we briefly had that flash flood warning, which has since expired and been canceled, thankfully. But still some river and creek flooding. And if you or your commute or your drive in your neighborhood encounters high water anywhere near those creeks or rivers, turn around and don't try to drive through that water. So the rain, for the most part, coming to an end across most of the KSAT 12 viewing area. McMullen County, south of Choke Canyon, yeah, we still have some heavy thunderstorms there, some heavy rainfall with lightning and thunder, but that's it. You look at the visible satellite imagery and you see the clouds starting to clear out behind those thunderstorms, and we'll continue to see that sky clearing. Actually, the showers this evening made for good rainbows out there. Very good rainbow making weather this evening in some parts of our area. Winds are picking up. That's one of the notable changes that we'll have here. We're talking wind gusts currently between about 20 to 30 miles per hour. But as we go through the night, we're going to see those wind gusts start to ramp up. 9 o'clock gusting to about 30 to 35. Midnight, 1 a.m. gusting between 35 and 40 miles per hour. So definitely noticing the wind tonight and through the first part of the day tomorrow. Dew points, they're going to take a dive. Already they're falling, but you see the sharp difference between Junction, Rock Springs, and Del Rio. Dew points in the 40s compared to locations closer to the Gulf Coast with dew points in the 70s. The north wind, that's going to be pushing in the drier, cooler, less humid air. So by later tonight, midnight, we're talking dew points upper 40s to lower 50s. And then all weekend long and even into Monday, refreshing air with a lack of mugginess and stickiness out there, because the humidity's been pretty thick lately. But through the weekend and Monday, you're not even going to think of the word humidity or muggy or sticky or sweaty outside. It's going to be very fall-like. Here's a look at the wide view here across the state, and the cold front just moved through San Antonio. It's moving along the coastal plain, headed toward the Gulf coastline. Upstream, where the air is coming from, temperatures right now in the 60s, and that cooler air is pushing our way. So still 80 in Pleasanton, 83 Cotulla, and 88 in Laredo, but that's going to be changing. Let's talk about temperatures tomorrow morning. At sunrise, 50s. So 55 New Braunfels, even Canyon Lake and Bulverde about 54. 55 in Hondo, Pleasanton 57. By tomorrow afternoon, low to mid 70s. Even in the upper 60s for high temperatures in parts of the hill country. I mean, Fredericksburg, Rock Springs, we're expecting a high temperature in the upper 60s. So much more fall-like, a big change for this weekend. And get ready. If you have a fire pit in your backyard or a fire ring, Saturday night, that's the time to do it, because we'll have that crisp, cool feel to the air. And first thing Sunday morning, we'll have temperatures, I think, in the mid to upper 40s to start the day on Sunday. So actually a bit of a chill in the air compared to what we're accustomed to lately for Sunday morning. By Sunday afternoon, back into the lower 70s. So clearly a lot cooler, more fall-like conditions this weekend with low humidity. And the wind will be subsiding, by the way, later on Saturday. Looking ahead to next week, humidity returns on Tuesday, and then that's when temperatures get back into the 80s.
Cannot wait for these weekend changes.
Yes, Adam Caskey telling people they may want to light up their ring of fire. Ring of fire. All right, let's talk sports now. Let's go out to Lavernia. Larry Ramirez joins us. Probably glad he's out there, not listening to these Spreester dad jokes, and he's in Lavernia doing something important.
Well, I've had IFB in for a while, Spree, so I got to hear Spreester dad jokes. And I'll be honest with you, I love them. I love your dad jokes. Hey, we're out here for big game coverage tonight. District football matchup between Lavernia and Somerset. Somerset is coming off a bye, whereas Lavernia is coming off a huge win last week. And in the bigs, the Astros are down a key pitcher in the ALCS. Coming up. Good evening, everybody, and welcome live to Livonia and Bears Stadium, where tonight Livonia will host the Somerset Bulldogs in district football. This is Bear Country, folks. Now, Livonia is feeling good after their best game of the season last week, a 56-14 win at Uvalde, a nice way to open district play. In that game, they had three backs top the 100-yard mark, led by Garrett Brandt and his 133 yards. Livonia is 2-5 overall this season, thanks to a brutal non-district schedule. But those tough games got the Bears ready for District 14 for a D1 competition.
Well, I mean, you look at our schedule, you played Cuero, Navarro, LaGrange, Seguin, Floresville. I mean, you're talking about, three teams that are ranked in the top 10 in San Antonio area, two of them ranked in the top 10 in the state. And the speed of it prepares us for district. We know we're not going to play the caliber of teams in district that we're going to play non-district. So it slowed down for us a lot last week against Uvalde.
It was just playing at a whole nother level and getting our minds ready, getting our minds ready for district, and playing those harder teams just prepares us in a different way than playing an easy team would.
Iron sharpens iron, and that's why Livonia has scheduled such a tough non-district schedule to sharpen up for district teams like the Somerset Bulldogs, who will invade Livonia tonight.
It's going to be a good game. I feel like they're pretty good, but if we keep up our hard work, practicing every day, I think we have a shot.
I feel like it's going to be a good matchup. We had a pretty good win last year against them, and they have a good record going into the game, but I feel like we have a good shot of beating them. Livonia also has home field advantage. Their stands are always packed and very loud. It feels pretty good to hear all the people cheering in the crowd.
The student section is wild, and that's one of the best parts about it. Like, you look up in the stands and it's packed.
I enjoy it, coming out here and seeing everyone out there in the stands.
Somerset comes to town 5-1 this season after beating Brackenridge, Southside, McCollum, Beeville Jones, and Hidalgo Early College. The Bulldogs' only loss this season was to Cuero 3 weeks ago. Led by quarterback Cole Detmer, the Bulldogs come to town fresh and healed up thanks to a much-needed bye week.
Just getting rested up, getting refueled, getting ready for district. We had some guys banged up. Making sure we can get some of those guys back and get healed up as a team and just prepare for district ball.
We just focused on really cleaning up our systems and coming together as a team to be able to perform a good district season.
I mean, I felt we needed it. We were banged up, so it was good. It was really good to have a bye week, especially at that time, at that point of the year, getting ready for district. So I kind of like it. It was good.
Rested and ready to go. Somerset is healthy and feeling good about their district opener tonight right here in Livonia.
They're a good team. We're excited to play them. It's our first district game. We're antsy. We've been held up with the bye week, so we're ready to go.
They're a good team. They're coming off of a big win, big district win against Uvalde. So we're expecting them to come out. We're expecting their best, so it should be a fun one.
Somerset at Livonia, Lockhart at Floresville, and George West will visit Poth. That's the road trip tonight. Highlights on the Night Beat and BigGameCoverage.com. In Major League Baseball, the American League Championship Series will get underway tonight with the Boston Red Sox at the Houston Astros. Now, Astros ace Lance McCullers Jr. was left off the team's roster for the ALCS because of right forearm tightness. Now, we're not sure how serious the injury is, so there's a chance he could return if the Astros make the World Series. Replacing him on the roster is Jake Odorizzi. First pitch is tonight at 7:07. And don't forget, the Spurs will close out the preseason tonight at home with the Houston Rockets. All right, folks, it's time to laugh, eat, have fun, etc. Let's check in live with David and RJ. They're tailgating somewhere as we continue our big game coverage.
Larry, we are at Dragon Stadium, one of the most unique stadiums, not just in the city, not just in the state, but probably in the entire country. This is a absolutely fantastic place to come and watch a football game. And tonight, it's the 4th annual.
Ooh, yes, the Fire and Armor Bowl, being the fire-breathing dragons taking on the Legacy Titans, armor and all. And, Larry was out there at Somerset with one of the Detmer family members, Ty Detmer, right here, winner of the Heisman Trophy. This is the home right here. This is a great stadium, David.
And this is a great rivalry. You can't call it a crosstown rivalry because there's really no town in between the two schools. They're both way out here in the southwest part of the county. This is an awesome place. So right next to the Medina River, right over there. It's a very unique stadium. It's like parked right in the side of a hill. So we're getting ready for that. We got a lot of games coming up for you tonight. A lot of district playoff positions being fought for tonight, all over San Antonio and South Texas.
Yeah, and this is all on our BGC app. We're going to have Harlan versus Holmes, and of course Somerset Lavernia. That's the game that Larry is at right now. At San Antonio Veterans Memorial taking on Dripping Springs. So just a lot of action all over the place. Just to let you know that we're going to be on KSAT.com once we wrap up here. So we're going to show you the sights and sounds of this place right now, Dragon Stadium out here at Southwest High School.
And something's cooking up there because we can smell it. So we're going to send it back to you, Steve and Myra.
Yeah,
I'll let you know what that is later.
I was going to say, if something's cooking up there, I know you're going to find out what it is, David. There's no
Sears
doubt.
is on the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Our KSAT Q&A is up next.
He's a comedian. He's a TV personality. He does great things in the community. He's also a COVID survivor, although I'm not so sure if he'd put himself in that category yet. Cleto Rodriguez joins us now. Cleto, my friend, it's always great to see you. You have been through so much since the last time I saw you. I think you were hosting a not-so-newlywed game the last time I saw you in person. Obviously, I follow you on social media. I follow you, in many different forms. Talk about your recovery from COVID and what it was like and how bad it was to go through what you went through.
It was definitely one of the most scariest things I ever had to experience in my life. I mean, it's when you're kind of going through the motions and it's like what the doctors had said, it's like the flu, but 10 times over. And when you're there faced with life and death and situation, and you're kind of, it's scary. I mean, I was nights I didn't go to sleep. I didn't close my eyes, and I pretty much leaned on my faith a lot. And I just, I had a lot of folks praying for me at the time, and just kind of really, when you're going through it, it was just such a scary experience because, you hear the doctors and the nurses, and they're so immune to, of what's going on in there, and you're in ICU, and it just it was getting pretty real for me in so many different, ways, because I was trying to breathe as much as I could, and I had found out I had COVID pneumonia. And I've heard of COVID, but I never heard of COVID pneumonia. But, you had to sleep on your stomach, and you had to do things that, medicines, and they're just hitting you at all sorts. And you just there was a moment there where I forgot I was a comedian. It's just a moment that it's so real that you don't know what to do. And again, there was one of the things, a majority of the folks that were in ICU at the time, I found out the doctors and nurses that were folks that were unvaccinated, and I happened to be one of them. And it was a regret I had on my part, to the point of I know why I didn't get vaccinated. I was pretty much I was diabetic. I'm type 2 diabetic, and I was pretty much scared for the most part because I didn't know what the reaction would be or so on. And but when I was in the hospital, when I was in there, I was like asking every doctor and nurse every simple question, every important question that I can do, and research on my own, and kind of like cramming for a test, actually. But it was just overwhelming to see how they had everything. They took they try to take care of everybody, but everybody's body's different. And I've been on both sides of the coin, to the point of, I know why I wasn't vaccinated. I know a lot of people that were vaccinated, and it's so unpredictable. This disease is so unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. I've heard cases from nurses and doctors that, people would take the vaccine and, pass away a few days later, or it's how their body reacts to it. And everybody's body is different. And for myself, I was just grateful that I was able to, and blessed to be able to come out of it. The hardest part for me was my father-in-law was 2 doors down in ICU, and he didn't make it. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't go see him. I couldn't go talk to him. I couldn't, because for one, I couldn't move, and they wouldn't let me out of the room anyway. And it was hard. And when he passed on, it was rough for my wife and family. And we just, they let me go see him afterwards, and the family as well. And for the most part, it was just one of the hardest things for me, because and it was hard for my wife as well, because here you have your husband fighting for his life as well as her dad, and then her husband comes out and her dad didn't. So it was pretty rough.
And for all of you to go through this and then you be so forthcoming with what you've gone through and very public about it. I mean, we were just showing a video where you are talking from in the hospital, in a hospital gown, hooked up to machines, about your experience. Why share that message, especially a message about the reasons that you did not get vaccinated?
I felt it was important to let people know. First of all, a lot of the, my sister had reached out to me. I was talking to her on FaceTime, her and my wife saying, you got most of San Antonio praying for you. And here I had this big old mask on my face. I'm like, well, tell them thank you, But, for the most part, I felt the need to let everybody know that this disease is real, and I wanted to let folks that this is no joke. I mean, it was something I wouldn't wish on anybody. It was like I knew now the importance of being vaccinated. I knew now what if I could help one person or a family or someone that didn't have to go through this. I would recommend the fact that they would just listen to what I had to say, and take it upon themselves. And again, you make your own decision to what you want to do, with your body. And so, I would take it up in prayer, whatever you need to do. But, to feel comfortable with yourself, to move forward, to say, you know what? And I didn't realize that the part that really got me was why people were so upset the fact that I wasn't vaccinated. And it was because of the fact that I didn't realize that I could spread to somebody. I don't know why that just did not click, but I found out that it just takes like one droplet from, your mouth to, and I was that's something that minute could spread so wide. And it just made me realize that, okay, you know what, this is how can I be responsible on my part to say, you know what, you don't want to go what I just went through. You don't want to go through this 2 weeks. I mean, I'm trying to get home. And like I said, I definitely leaned on my faith. I thank everybody for their prayers. And, some felt that I deserved it and some felt I didn't. And I get it and I understand. But for myself, I was just grateful that I was able to walk out of there.
You had a community that was behind you and praying for you. That is for sure. Before we go, I want to talk about how are you doing now? And I know that you have a couple of shows set up. So, but you're still in recovery. You're not fully past this yet.
No, I just barely got off my oxygen here at home. And I got a comedy show coming up in November. I was trying to get a gig last week. I was trying to get the doctor to allow me to fly, but he said it's too soon. But I was trying to get a gig in Boston. But I got one coming up next month, and it's my comeback show. And I don't know what I was going to title it. I have a whole new perspective in life. It'd be called Funny Perspective, or, Glad to Be Alive, or, it doesn't matter what I call it. It's just, I want to invite everybody to come on. Now, I'm not going to talk so much about COVID or make fun of that, because that's a serious thing. And a lot of folks have lost loved ones, but I'm going to talk about my experience. And between my dog sleeping on my hose and my wife crinkling it on purpose, I don't know how I stayed alive this far. So we'll see.
Yeah, you're not out of the woods yet. You're not out of the woods yet.
Right. Yeah. I'm almost there.
You look great. I don't know if you consider yourself on the other side of it yet, but you're definitely a step closer day by day, it seems. I know you're still waiting, you said, to be cleared by a doctor to get vaccinated, but we're glad to hear that you are ready to get back out there, back on stage. Thanks for sharing your story. And we wish you the absolute best.
Rain is gone in the San Antonio area, but you're still going out and about. There may be some residual closures across the area, seeing some icons here. Also some delays on I-10, also on 35 coming into town. Also north of New Braunfels, we'll have some more bridge work here at Conrad's Lane. So 35 southbound at Conrad's will be closed beginning at 8 p.m., so in a little more than an hour, through 9 a.m. Saturday. And then tomorrow night, the southbound lanes between Watson's and Conrad's will be closed. Again, that begins at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Taking a look at traffic now, this was at a standstill earlier but things are moving a lot better. That standing water there was on I-10 seems to have cleared for now, guys.
All right, thank you, Samuel. Let's take a look outside with live cam. We are ready for a fall-like weekend. Bring it on.
As some would say, it's a pumpkin spice weekend on the way. Pumpkin spice everything, and why can't we have pumpkin spice weather, I guess? Well, this would be it this weekend, our first real taste of it.
No.
Oh, real taste of it? I see what you did there.
Yeah. No pumpkin spice weather, please.
Oh, Spreester. Now I know what he doesn't like, so I'm going to just keep pressing that button.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, 78 right now. We'll be down to 70 at 8 o'clock. By midnight, 60 degrees. Temperatures falling off, dew points dropping, winds picking up. Big changes happening as we speak. I'll let you know what that means for the weekend coming up.
All right, it is Friday, and a lot of us looking forward to a change this weekend.
Yes, finally, after all this humidity.
Yeah, we're sweeping away the humidity. It's going to get out of here, and it's going to stay out of here for several days. Myra's giving it the 1-2 punch. That cold front's doing that. So the rain already done around San Antonio, just a few showers far south of town. Windy, though. The wind's going to be picking up. It's already a little breezy and noticeable out there, but it's going to get gusty through the night. So outdoor Halloween decorations, if they're not really cinched down, go do that now, or deflate them if they're inflatables. Much cooler as we go through the weekend. I know Steve's got that big pumpkin spice latte, that venti, out on his front lawn, so might want to take care of that when you get home. Tomorrow night it'll be okay. You can reinflate it. All right, looking at our radar right now. Not much activity left over. The cold fronts moved through and the showers are pretty much over with. McMullen County, far southern McMullen County, moving out of our area is what we have left. Now the winds are gusting between 20 and about 26 miles per hour. These will be increasing just in the next couple of hours. We'll see some wind gusts likely making it up to about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Here's the forecast. 8 o'clock, wind gusts around 30 miles per hour. Steady between about 15 and 25. Midnight, same thing, gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour. And first thing tomorrow morning at sunrise, the wind is still going to be very noticeable. So the first part of the day tomorrow, we will still have those high gusts. Dew points, they're already starting to fall off. 63-degree dew point in San Antonio. But you look where the wind is coming from in the hill country. Dew points now 50s and some 40s. So that drier, less humid air is getting punched into town, as Myra would put it. Getting rid of that humidity, we're sweeping it away. And look at this, it stays away until Tuesday. Tuesday, the mugginess returns and you'll notice some humidity. But this weekend and Monday, fall-like, crisp air, lack of humidity. So temperature-wise, right now we've got wide-ranging temperatures from 70s to even 80s. But by tomorrow morning, this is what the map should look like. 57 Pleasanton, 53 Kerrville, Fredericksburg, Rock Springs, 50 degrees. So waking up to temperatures by and large in the 50s. And then by the afternoon, we'll see the readings only in the low to mid 70s. So Cotulla about 77. 73 in Hondo, Uvalde 75, but you get into the hill country, and parts of the hill country probably won't even get out of the upper 60s. So Rock Springs, Fredericksburg, high temperatures in the upper 60s. Around San Antonio, about 73 degrees. I'd say low to mid 70s in Bexar County and surrounding communities. All right, taking a look at our weekend forecast as a whole. Low to mid 70s for high temperatures. Still breezy and a little gusty on your Saturday. Even into the afternoon when the wind's not as strong, you'll notice it from time to time. On Sunday, temperatures even lower. Look at those morning readings on Sunday. We're expecting 40s, probably about 47 degrees on Sunday morning. That's well below average. The average low is about 60, but nowhere near the record. The record's 40 degrees on Sunday morning. I don't think we'll be anywhere near that. Nonetheless, you'll notice that fall feel in the air, some mid and high clouds on Sunday. So still 73 the high temperature. Monday, upper 70s, still low humidity. This beautiful fall-like weather is going to last. And if you love this weather and you want to return to sunshine, you can enjoy it guilt-free because of all the recent rainfall we've had around here. The aquifer is actually above average now by 0.3 of a foot, so that's an improvement.
I want to talk about that move that Myra was doing. It's kind of like rock'em sock'em robots.
High humidity makes me a little punchy.
I do Krav Maga, and I was about to get in my defensive position there, Myra.
Just keep that in mind.
Rock'em sock'em Myra.
We'll be right back.
Lance Bass in the buzz saying bye, bye, bye Did I say that right? To uninterrupted
Yes.
sleep, the NSYNC alum announced he and husband Michael Turkin have welcomed twins. Bass says Alexander James, born Wednesday, 1 minute before sister Violet Betty.
He weighed 4 pounds 14 ounces, and she weighed 4 pounds 11 ounces. On social media, Bass thanked everyone for their kind wishes and said, "I cannot express how much love I feel right now."
Friday's National Day is as cheesy as it gets. It's right. The National Day is the National Day of the cheese curd. The salty, deep-fried snack started, of course, in Wisconsin, the dairy state.
They are a popular fare food, but they're making their way into some restaurants as a French fry alternative. They're also a big part of poutine, which includes French fries and brown gravy.
All of that never occurred to me.
Ah, okay. I kind of like that one.
I got a boo from Caskey, so that means it was good. We'll be right back.
Tomorrow, we start the day at 55, gusty as well. At times, those winds could reach to about 30 to 40 miles per hour. A lot of sunshine on your Saturday. Look at that high, only 73. Oof, low humidity all weekend. Saturday night, if you have a fire pit or a fire ring, oh, it's going to be a good night for it. We'll be in the 50s Saturday evening, then by Sunday morning down into the 40s, about mid to upper 40s. All weekend, highs low to mid 70s, and we really don't warm back into the 80s until Tuesday.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Thanks, Adam. And thanks for watching the news at 6.
See you on the Night Beat at 10.